No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Happy Thursday. Welcome on into Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. Big couple of days for Bronco Nation News with the happy hour event tonight, the golf tournament tomorrow, and we kick it off with our final show of the week here on a 9 a.m. on a Thursday. Johnny Ball Game there in the RowPaint.com studios, downtown Boise, sporting the RowPaint.com shirt. And Johnny, always appreciates you on a Thursday. Jumping on, going to have Jeremiah Dickey joining us a little later. We're going to talk Matt Lauter, McCoy. We got the football TV schedule coming out at 10 o'clock. A lot going on today. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Shout out to you, BJ. I know this is a huge work week for you, putting on a golf tournament. I'm so happy I never have to do anything like that, BJ. But you do a terrific job. We're all excited to get out there and swing the clubs tomorrow and see everybody. Shout out to all the, you have a name like the BNNers, the BNN crew. Like, does your little crew, you guys have a nickname for the BNN fan base? Shout out to whatever it is.
We don't really. No, we should.
You guys need like a, whatever, the chuckleheads, like you guys need like your own. That was my old group on my show in the Johnny Ball Game show years. We were the
legendary show, by the way. Go back on YouTube, the Johnny Ball Game show.
We were huge in Eastern Oregon. They were the chuckleheads.
Producer, the legendary producer. Don't tell me his name. All right, tell me. I can't think of it.
Dodsey.
Yes, I knew.
Producer back there. Yeah.
It was fun.
Great times, BJ. But yeah, shout out. Thanks to everybody for having me on here, and excited to kind of pave the way for JD today.
Yes.
BJ.
Yeah, you thought he'd come on. You could come on and help build up the audience a little bit for Jeremiah Dickey. And yeah, Johnny, if you could only see my office right now. I mean, I've got the Mulligan stickers ready to go for tomorrow. I've got your the blue Pro Image, the blue and orange store. I was in there yesterday picking up the what are these called? Gift cards for the winners. And I saw the Ashton Genty jerseys in there that you guys were promoting last week on your show. I know you have an Ashton Genty jersey yourself, but yeah, looking forward to it. And we do have some spots tonight, Johnny, 6 o'clock, Western Collective Brewery. If anybody last minute open plans tonight wants to come out and meet Johnny or Prater or any of the BNN crew, Leon Rice, Spencer Danielson, Dirk Cutter, going to be a fun evening tonight. 6 o'clock, Western Collective Brewery there in Garden City. Just email me, rains@bronconationnews.com, and you can jump on into that. And you get Uncle Bob's Pizza, some Horseshoe Golden Ale beers, and our boy Kerry's going to be there. He flew back in from Western Collective, flew back in to be there for the event tonight. So going to be fun having the owner of Western Collective, and going to be a fun night tonight, raising money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. Almost $25,000 we've raised in 3 years. So we'll have this tonight, and then the golf tournament sold out. Tees off tomorrow. Looking forward to that, Johnny. I'm going over at like noon to set up a little bit, and then I got to go pick up our man Tyler Mays from Circa at the airport, who arrives at 1 o'clock, and all the folks are coming in town. I was picking up my parents at the airport last night about midnight.
Oh, yeah.
My brother and his wife, and I saw a couple of folks, rolling golf bags out of the airport, and I'm like, hey, they're flying in town for the BNN tournament, I guess, from all over, to play in this thing. I don't know, but no.
Wow, BJ, yes.
Going to be a
remember
fun
remember when you texted me that one time and you asked me to text Kellen and see if we could get him to roll out there? And I was like, dude, I can't do that, man. And you're like, dude, tell him I got a private plane for him. I was dude, I don't know, man. No, I'm not texting Kellen. And this was like years ago before he was the head coach.
I think I just went for it. I don't know him as well, so I didn't feel as bad doing it. But yeah, I mean, how often I had a friend of ours, one of our sponsors, who does have a private plane, who actually said that he would be willing to go pick up Kellen Moore and bring him back as long as his kid got to ride on the plane too and go. And I said, no, that's done deal. So, I mean, how often can you flex and text somebody saying I can have a private jet come pick you up?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
sweet.
Couldn't
but
no, this is Kellen.
It's a big deal though. This tournament, it's a big deal, and it kicks off tonight. So,
here's Kellen for you. Kellen couldn't make it, but he said, anything I can do to help, let me know. And I sent, I mailed down a couple of mini helmets and things, and then Kellen Moore signed them and sent them back a couple years ago for our first event. So that was
the best
cool to do. So again, looking forward to that tonight. And if you want to come, email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. Johnny, everyone's looking forward to seeing you at the event tonight. I know there's some intrigue there for the event tonight, but going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Going to be a little warm though as well tonight outside, but we'll get through and we'll have a good time. All right, we got 2 players on our list today, Johnny. Jeremiah Dickey, the Boise State athletic director, is going to join us at 9:30. They've got the topping off ceremony tomorrow on the new facility, and they're building there in the end zone. And the last piece of steel will be going in tomorrow, and then they'll switch it over to concrete, and that thing will continue to take shape. So we'll talk to Jeremiah about that and some other topics. And as I said, I believe around 10 a.m. this morning, the football schedule, the game times, the date changes, all that will come out for Boise State at 10 o'clock this morning. So be ready for that. And I would anticipate, Johnny, a couple games at least moving probably to Friday. But we'll find out the full list as they do every year. A couple games always get moved. I would be shocked if they didn't. But we'll find out 10 o'clock or so, I believe, 11 o'clock sometime.
They already sent it to you, BJ. It's just embargoed.
Well, you didn't need to say that, but
gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha. I didn't. I mean, yeah, okay.
You didn't
10 o'clock.
Yes.
10 o'clock.
Right at 10 o'clock, yes. What the game times are, what the channels are for Boise State this year. Now, probably get some of the games. Maybe you won't get some. We'll find that out. But we're continuing our list of the 25 most important players to the Boise State football team. We are down to number 7 and number 6. We got to do 2 today, Johnny, since we're not having a show tomorrow. And we're inside the top 10 now. And we've got at number 7 on our list, Matt Lauter, tight end for the Boise State football team, coming in at number 7. Obviously, a lot of questions about wide receiver. We all believe Matt Lauter could be in line for a huge season in the passing game at tight end. Obviously, no Cam Camper, no Prince Strawn, no Austin Bolt now at the wide receiver position. And Matt Lauter, one of 2 offensive players returning that was first-team All-Mountain West last year for Boise State, along with Cage Casey. So first-team player coming back, 47 catches, 619 yards, 7 touchdowns. Also a tremendous blocker. He was one of only 16 tight ends in college football to have at least 45 catches last season. And, was the second leading catcher on the team behind Cam Camper. But as we said, Johnny, with some of these guys moving on, Maddox Madsen obviously has a nice connection with Matt Lauter. It would seem like Matt Lauter could be in for a big year, and obviously his health, his importance to this offense, we've got him at number 7. He's a massive piece to this team.
I mean, and now, like you said, with the receiver room question marks, I mean, it's nice to know like that you feel really good about what you're going to get out of Matt Lauter, right? You're going to get, the best tight end in the league, you're hoping. Now, can he take that to the best tight end in the country, or be in that conversation, right? And I think his stats are going to allow him to get in that conversation. If you're a G5 guy, G6 now, you have to have the stats, right? Ashton Genty knows this. So I think Lauter can have the stats. I think it was Jeb Putzier, the last Boise State tight end to lead a team in receiving yards. And that was like Ryan Dinwiddie's sophomore year or something. So it was a long time ago. And I think, BJ, if we're playing a game right now and we get to go back and forth to pick who leads this team in receiving yards, and I give you the first pick, do you take Lauter on that? I think you probably do. Seems like, maybe Latrell Caples. I think it's, if you take Lauter, I'll take Caples. I take Caples, you take Lauter. So I think he's probably right in that mix, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Where was he at on your guys' list? Do you remember?
3.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is, man, because you don't know exactly what you have at running back, but you like it, right? You don't know what you have at receiver, and I don't think you like it, but you know what you have at tight end, and you love it.
Honestly,
so for that,
if Austin Bolt had been, and if this situation was, and we realized they didn't get anybody else at receiver of note, we might have bumped him up a little higher. But I mean, we made this list a month ago, obviously. But you could definitely argue Matt Lauter should be higher than 7, because obviously they need him to stay healthy, and they need him to have a big year. But I think 3 is certainly fair there too. But I mean, Matt Lauter is one of those guys, Johnny, that probably could have gotten paid somewhere else. I mean, he's a guy that I remember last year I asked him before the Fiesta Bowl something about the portal, and he's like, I'm not answering that question, and it just seemed like a guy that could have had some big time interest. He's got family in Florida, the SEC, I mean, other conferences, and he's another guy that probably took a little less money or a lot less money to stay, and his reward is probably going to be a massive stat line this season.
The one thing that the G6 programs in Boise State has that can keep the kids is, like you said, the snaps, the stats, but the NFL. And Matt Lauter is in a rare group where at Boise State, he's full well on confident that if he stays on this path of just getting better every day, doing what he's doing in the Spencer Danielson developmental program, he's going to get drafted, barring some massive major setback, unfortunate circumstance. He's getting picked. So does he want to take good money, say 700-800 G's for 1 year, go to a new tight end room, new coach? All of a sudden, the other tight ends in the room, some of them are faster than you. A few of them are bigger than you. Like, what? And then all of a sudden, well, how's it going to work? What is the offense exactly? What am I doing here? And then all of a sudden, you don't factor in. You get the money, but you don't have the year you want. And you're kind of in the same exact spots you were. And maybe even you devalued your draft stock. Like those guys like Lauter, they think about that. Like, yeah, the money's nice, but dude, I'm on a path here, and I've seen it. My teammates have done it, and Matt's one of the 2, 3, 4 dudes that can really raise their hand up legit and say, "You're going to the league." I mean, everybody would if you asked them that, but there's 3 or 4 that legit will, and I think Lauter's one of those, and I think that's why BJ he stayed. It's not the quick cash, it's the investment. So Boise State does have that, and they've been able to keep their core players, a lot of them, because of that. You just don't know what's on the other side outside of the bag, and in some cases, you don't even know what's in the bag after they tell you what's in it, right?
Yeah. No, I'm very intrigued. I think that he has a chance at I remember last year, Johnny, there was a time, I don't know if it was during fall camp early in the season, where I just noticed the aura, something changed with his attitude. He started wearing like, crazier clothes and had the chains, and he just started doing better in his interviews. And it just seemed like he kind of realized like, yeah, I'm a badass and I know it.
He got cool. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He figured out I'm a freaking badass here. I've earned this. I'm one of the badasses on the team. And if I want to wear a zip up jacket with no shirt underneath, and I just want to zip it up about halfway and just do this, I'm just going to do it. And I remember I like it when guys show a little color like that. And I remember Lauter did that one day. I was like, he doesn't have a shirt under that jacket. Did he not have a undershirt? So he just went jacket with no shirt under, but then he's not covering it up. He only zipped it halfway up. Like he's cool, man. And so, yeah, Matt, he's at your event tonight.
He will be there. Matt Lauter will be there.
Lithia Ford, talk to him, man.
Yes, cool. The NIL Lithia Ford of Boise guys, Cage Casey, Roger Carrion, Amar, who else they got? Latrell Caples, and Matt Lauter will all be there tonight hanging out with fans. Yes. Looking forward to that. What's a fair stat line, or what's over under for catches for Matt Lauter this season, man?
Okay, last year he ends up with 47. BJ, he finished with 9. Like that jump, 9 to 47. He can't have that jump again. That's going to put him at almost 80 catches. But I think a good over under 49.5, 53.5, a little higher than what he did last year. There still is the Genty factor, how everything's going to look without him. So 52, 53, which if he does over on that, he can leave this program, BJ, statistically speaking, and just the overall aura as the best tight end ever, if not on the Mount Rushmore of tight ends at this school. He's on his way there.
Yeah, I think he could have a monster season. Super excited to see what Matt Lauter can do. We've got Matt Lauter at number 7 on our list of the 25 most important players on the Boise State football team. You guys had him at 3, so obviously a little bit of difference there, but he's certainly, no doubt, a massive piece of this team. We will get to number 6 on our list in just a second. Jeremiah Dickey coming up in about 13 minutes as well. RowPaint.com is our title sponsor. All your painting needs, those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, rowpaint.com. Make sure you hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and Company. They're the co-sponsors of the golf tournament. We'll be passing out golf balls tomorrow, and we do have an extra sleeve of balls for Jay Tuss. Johnny, I know he's worried that the free golf balls we give him may not last the whole round if he's hitting them into the woods and things. So I got some extra balls for Jay.
Has he golfed every year in this tournament, BJ?
Last year he had the torn bicep like 2 days before. So that
was it. Yeah, it's good to see him. It'll be great to see him back out there. And Tust sighting tonight.
Tust is hosting the Q&A tonight. Yes, we'll get to that in a second. But TacoBellWorks.com. Taco Bell, we appreciate them as well. If you're looking for a job, Taco Bell is hiring. The SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, we appreciate Taco Bell for their support of Bronco Nation News. Idaho Central Credit Union, they'll be out there at the golf tournament as well. ICCU.com, Idaho Central Credit Union. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Make the switch today, ICCU.com. Jackson's, they're providing some of the nuts and beef jerky and snacks as well for the tournament, but they got the great deal if you're wanting to go to Roaring Springs this summer. Save up to $32 on 4 tickets when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products at Roaring Springs at Jackson's. So go to Jackson's or Extra Mile, buy 2 Coke products, get $8 off your ticket. You can do that 4 times, $32 in savings at Roaring Springs. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game, thespateam.com. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. You can check them out online, get all their options, whether it's a sauna, a spa, pool table at thespateam.com. As I said, was in the blue and orange store yesterday. They got that clearance rack at the front of the store there. So many great options, whether it's basketball, football, jerseys, coaches, sideline apparel, all that good stuff. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Check them out, and you can order online anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com. As I said, the Blue and Orange Store, great partner of ours. They got some cool news coming. We'll tell you more about that later. But the Blue and Orange Store online at theblueandorangestore.com. Yes, Johnny, Jay Tust is moderating the Q&A today. I actually put him on the list where he was not allowed to get in the gym this week, so he couldn't have any more unfortunate weightlifting incidents to make sure he's ready to go tonight.
Oh man, I love it. I love how you I love you and the back and forth between you and Tust, dude. It's the best. And you getting him to do this like This is a big favor Jay's doing for you. That's a tough deal, and it's so much easier just to do like what I do. I just tell you no, and then I just show up and have a good time. And
They'll have a good time up there with Spencer and Leon on stage. And
yeah, it's great. But I mean, it's better just to hang, if you ask me. It's less stress, but that's really cool. You get Tuss to do that and kind of work, and it's going to be fun. But yeah, you owe Tuss for this one, BJ.
I do.
You do. Or if he owed you, you guys are close to being even.
I gave him tomorrow's show off. Is that a fair trade?
Yep, that's a good deal. That's a good deal, BJ.
Doug Benninger says, can't wait for tonight. Talk to my friend and his wife into coming. So there you go. And Johnny, everyone is waiting for the big reveal. As Hayden says, can't wait for the reveal of the plus one tonight.
He's talking about the schedule and if there's going to be any non-Saturday games. Hayden, he wants to know the Boise State schedule. I want to talk about this, but yeah,
I know.
Not till 10. Not till 10. Not till 10.
I think he's talking about the plus one reveal.
Oh, yeah. BJ, I'm looking forward to showing up tonight.
It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys will be doing your show out at the course. Supposed to be just a phenomenal weather day. Going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We got Pastry Perfection, Johnny. Tomorrow, by the way, we'll be doing the last ever official Degenhart Dozens.
Oh, I'm going to miss that.
You can still order combination, I guess, but they're not calling tomorrow's the last day. They're calling them the Degenhart Dozens.
Okay, that's a heck of a spread. I have to watch myself at your tournaments. Remember, and your son, dude. I don't know who eats the most donuts out there, Ball Game or Nelson Reigns, man.
He won't be there
contest. He won't be there.
He's got a baseball game at 8 a.m. in a tournament.
Sorry, Nelly. No donuts for you.
Yeah, but always a family affair out there and going to be a fun time tomorrow. And again, if you missed the beginning of the show, we do have some tickets available for tonight. We're going to have a great crowd. We're over double the crowd of last year, Johnny. It's going to be a great crowd, but we do have, just because the space is so much bigger, anyone that wants to come tonight, Bronco Nation News Happy Hour, Idaho Youth Sports Commission, email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. We'll get you in. You get some beer, some pizza, and a good time tonight at Western Collective Brewery at 6 o'clock. Just email me, and it's $35 for tickets. Greg Wood already has a question for Jeremiah Dickey in there, wants us to ask the AD, why are we putting our team in an opening away game with little or no upside, taking our team across the country, playing in humid weather, hotter than hell, with most of the country expecting BSU to lose, and our CFP appearance is in question. Thanks. Do you have any issues with opening the season at South Florida, Johnny?
I don't love it. I'm not full blown team Greg Wood, but I mean, there are questions, but there's just not a lot of other like-minded G5 programs that are west of Texas, outside of the Mountain West. There's like Oregon State and Washington State, and you kind of play them. I know. I mean, remember when they had East Carolina on there? I think they got out of that one. Right? Was it EC? Didn't they have them on there at one point? They got out of a few of these. And
Marshall.
Moving forward, I don't. Hopefully, in the future, Greg, this game is Wyoming, Nevada, probably not Air Force, New Mexico. It's one of these games. But yeah, I mean, it's a ways to go. But I mean, you handled it at Georgia Southern last year. You handled it at Tallahassee when you had to go beat Florida State. I mean, you handled it. I know that was a dome, but with Kellen in Georgia, I mean, it's been done. It's not the worst thing, but yeah, I do understand that's a totally different climate over there.
All right. Let's keep our list going. We got Jeremiah Dickey coming up here shortly, but a number 6 on our list, Johnny, I'm curious where you guys had him, but we've got Amarian McCoy, corner for Boise State, gets the year back of eligibility. Nobody was expecting, planning, thinking he'd come back, and he gets another year here. And obviously for this defense, the pass defense was not very good last year, gave up a lot of big plays at times last year. Some of these DBs, frustrating fans by not always turning their head on some of these deep balls last year. But Amarian McCoy, had a strong individual season according to the numbers, and is back for another year here. I've got some numbers I can get into, but Amarian McCoy, number 6, trying to help this pass defense get to the next level. What do you think of McCoy at 6?
Absolutely. I mean, how How many really good teams don't have at least one really good corner? I mean, you need this level. And Omarion, I think, has played at a pretty good, really good Mountain West level at times. And then others he hasn't. And that's all corners. I mean, it's such a tough position. I feel sorry for these DBs in college football, man. I mean, they're throwing all over the place. It's really hard to play defense, especially in a Chenander system where you're going to blitz more than any other team in the league. So they ask more of their corners. That's probably why, it is why they get beat deep more, I think. But also there were a lot of times, as we've talked so much about at length, just about the technique not seeming to be there, thinking that can't be the way these guys are coached. Come on. We've watched a lot of football. We've seen this team play for decades and decades. We know good corner play. We need to see it better than that. Amarion McCoy getting to come back, he's going to be a better version this year of what he was last year. And that's going to be a good thing. I think Amarion McCoy, he'll be your preseason all-league Mountain West corner, but he needs to be the postseason all-league Mountain West corner. Without Genty, you're just going to need all the other little pieces there to just grow and be better units than they were last year when you had the kind of the Genty factor that you don't have anymore. Amarion McCoy works tremendously hard. I think he'll have a shot to play pro ball if this year works out well for him and just keep getting a little bigger, stronger, faster. Remember how small he was when he showed up? He was skinny like me, dude. He was like $160. Yeah. I mean, he was so small, and now, I mean, he's filling out, and he's primed to have a good year. Bronco Nation should be happy they have an Amarion McCoy, and guys like that at that level now, they don't even stay in the G6 anymore. They are freaking out, man. They need to make some money at this thing. So for the fact that Boise State gets a level corner like Amarion to stay, again, says a lot there.
Couple of the numbers, he played 818 snaps. And again, these will be up on Nathan Carroll's article on BroncoNationNews.com, which I'll get posted after the show. He earned a Pro Football Focus coverage grades, excellent in both categories, in man coverage and zone coverage. In total, Johnny, he had the 5th highest coverage grade of any cornerback in the Mountain West last year, 83.6. And he was one of 3 cornerbacks in the entire United States last year to play 500 snaps and only have 1 penalty. So he's not a guy that's going to get beat and grab your jersey. Wow. 1 penalty in 500-plus snaps.
And I don't know if that was a defensive holding, a PI, or, it could have been, an unnecessary whatever, right? And we don't even know what that penalty is. Maybe it wasn't even a PI. If Amarion McCoy played the whole freaking year last year and didn't have 1 PI call, okay, I'll take that. That's really impressive, because there's some dudes on this team that have had multiple PI calls in the same game.
Yep. And by the way, I'm looking at some more of the numbers here, 11 pass breakups. That was 2nd in the entire country. And his 19 forced incompletions were 1st in the country. So I don't know exactly how they do that, but a forced incomplete pass, a guy having an incomplete pass with him guarding him, 19 were the most in the country.
Blitzes help on that too, BJ, because the quarterback gets it out quicker. But that's great for Amarion too.
And let's see. In man coverage, he forced an incompletion on 28% of his man coverage targets. So I don't know what the standard number is, but I guess that's pretty good. That in man coverage, he forced the incompletion. But he does mention that he was targeted 101 times last year, tied for the most in the country. So teams actually targeted him a ton too. He got targeted 101 times last year. And
that's interesting. If he's not having PI calls and he's targeted like that, I've talked to coaches like Sanford. Hell yes. If there's a DB we think sucks, hell yes. At that level, you test and you test him and you test him. If they were trying that on Amarion McCoy, I don't think it worked all that well.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. And he only allowed 3 touchdowns and 51 catches. Travis Hunter allowed 23 catches and a touchdown last year, just to compare, 51 catches on 3 touchdowns. But overall, I mean, this pass defense, Johnny, certainly is something we're needing to get. They're going to try to improve. But Mallory McCoy checks in at number 6 on our list of the 25 most important players on the Boise State football team. Johnny, we will see you tonight. I know our guest is very curious as well about the +1 tonight, who that's going to be. Mr. Dickey here, would you like to? I know you're very excited about Johnny's +1 tonight. That's the story around the office.
Yeah, I'm pumped, Johnny. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
No,
I'm
can't
pumped.
hear you,
Like,
JD.
when I'm at a baseball tournament in Nampa and some guy comes up and that's a topic of conversation, you've made it. You've made it.
Thanks, JD. Appreciate it. So
I'm
I can't show up with my mother, can I?
No. Now, my pastor at church said he was going. I heard he's coming, so I don't know if that's maybe the secret guest.
What's his name?
I'm not telling you.
Shut your pastor out, JD. All right.
Johnny,
See you tonight, guys.
Steve at Eagle Christian.
We'll see you tonight, Johnny. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you in Prater tonight. Jeremiah Dickey, Boise State Athletic Director, nice enough to join us for his monthly appearance here on Bronco Nation News. Jeremiah, exciting times, a lot going on. You got the topping ceremony tomorrow over there on the facility. Crazy to believe. I mean, you're now the last piece of steel, I guess, going in. I mean, this thing just is going faster and faster. And now the fun with the concrete and everything comes in. But a cool ceremony tomorrow night that I know is a nice milestone for you guys.
It is. It's something that means obviously so much to our staff and our donors and those that are supporting the project. But a shout out to Anderson and the collective crew and team that's building this thing. I mean, it's insane how quickly they're moving, and we're still obviously in line. And when you get to that topping off ceremony, it's somewhat of like the halfway point. And, from the time we put shovel in ground and started clearing dirt and to be now in May, and to have that ceremony, they've made progress. And so I'm really grateful for their commitment. And I'm excited to, as we get closer to the season, it's going to look really cool. Obviously we won't be able to use it, but it's going to look, hopefully provide a great backdrop in Albertsons, and I'm excited for it.
So I know the concrete part of it is right. What starts coming next, but what is going to start to take shape on this thing over the next couple of months here? What's the next step?
Yeah, the concrete for sure. That's a big step. And then, I think there'll probably be a pretty hard pivot internally, and there's still some things on the facade and outside the stadium. I was just walking it with Nate and Cody and Tommy Alquist, a good friend of the program and personal friend. And we were walking the site yesterday, and it's really, next to Blameyer and on that east side, BJ, when you can, right under the banners, and that's a side that's, somewhat of an eyesore. So we're putting lipstick on a pig, but like when you add that north end zone piece and you see that concourse and it's going to start looking complete, it really does add something to an awesome facility. And now it gets us dreaming about what's next. How do we pivot from that into the east side? And that was a little bit of why we were walking the site to begin with. So I'm excited to see what it looks like going into August and especially in fall ball. And obviously you guys being at practice, you're going to get to see it straight on. And at some point, Nate's told me that we'll start doing some hard hat tours and we'll have to do something for our media partners. And, it's an opportunity it's not my project. It's not even this department's project. This is something that impacts the community. And, and that ties into, obviously our goal of being a leader in this community and how we serve this community. And so I'm really excited to see the finished product. Obviously a lot more work ahead of us, and it's always what's next.
A lot of questions coming in the ICCU YouTube chat here, so we'll get right to them. Jeremiah, if that's okay with you. Surf City Bill, hate to bring up money, but how close is the project to being fully funded? And I'm also curious on just suites and tickets and things in that building. How is all that going?
It's going well. That ties into the full being fully funded. Obviously, we had to raise a certain amount. There's a portion that it's being bonded, and then a lot of it ties into our pro forma. And, we believe we announced a couple weeks ago, we're sold out of the loge boxes. We're almost sold out of the ledge seating. We're close. We're in the process. Like the suites are a different beast in general, and so you have to get contracts, and so we have verbals, but we have many of them committed to as well, and we're right in line with what our pro forma stated. Probably the biggest area that maybe seems like a concern that we are not concerned about. It's just part of the process and our strategy. We knew it was going to take a while to sell all the club seats. So our goal was to get 80% sold. I believe we're at 20% now. And so we have a lot of work to do, but we knew those were going to be the last to go. And we still have a full sales cycle to do that. And so we're very aligned on our pro forma. Cody and our external team are doing a great job. I'm not, we're off and running. Like the project in my mind is done. I know it's not officially done, but it's done, and it's on to what's next.
So where is the band moving to? I know I've gotten a lot of questions about the band having having to leave that, and then with the students, I know there was some talk about the students at some point moving as well. Is that I don't think that's happening for this year, but is that still maybe for 2026 the plan, or what all seating is being affected by this?
Band for sure. We'll move them to the south end zone. We're currently working on a stair system to get them up and down and into that south side. And so the band will move over there. And so that's going to be an extremely loud section. And it traditionally is. That end zone is one of my favorite. And and we like the other team to go into that end zone, in the fourth quarter. And so having the band over there is going to add a different level of intensity and obviously energy. Students are staying where they're at. That's a great section for them. And obviously with us switching sidelines, that puts them behind the visiting team. And I like that. We have talked about BJ, which I don't know if I'm supposed to say this and if this is out there yet, but we have talked about, coming from Baylor. I really appreciated how they stretched their student section out, along the sideline. It created a really cool atmosphere and experience for students. And so we have talked about that. That will probably tie more into future and what do we do with the east side of the stadium and, do it, which is probably an overbuild, not necessarily dropping the field, but an overbuild to account for the track. But we want to get those seats closer. We want to create more seats. I told you our goal was to get to 40,000. And so when I talk about what's next, those are the things that I'm working on. And I say I shouldn't say our team is considering, and really we're more in the dream stage of, all right, what could it be? Could we spread students out if we bring the bleacher or the seating closer to the field? And, does that create opportunities to maybe create a different level of experience? Students are important to us. That is our pipeline. We've been selling out. We account for 5,500 for a game. Per game, and the students have shown up, and I'm proud of them. And so that's important to us. And when you look at our facility overall, I mean, I think we're close to 18,000 season tickets out. We had over 90% renewals. That doesn't even account for the 5,500 that we hold for students. And then obviously we're going down in capacity. So everything is aligning with our vision and plan and strategy to get to 40,000 seats and ultimately create that need within our facility to build more.
Well, I know you can't do it in basketball because that's where your highest priced tickets are on the side. But I've always thought the way you have it with those blue seats, that are the first 9 rows. Anyone's been to or seen like the Breslin Center at Michigan State or whatever, their student section literally just strips around the entire lower, 10 rows of the stadium or whatever. And I've always thought like, man, if you didn't, but there's just I know there's no way you can probably do it. That's where you get your big donors. They all sit low, but you could really, and you got to have the students show up also. But I mean, you could have on TV and stuff, that place could look amazing if you had 10 rows of students all the way around.
No, you're absolutely right. And, I'm not one to say, never. There's always opportunity. And, obviously we require a lot of our students and Bronco Nation in general and the support we get. And that's something we would have to account for, but there is possibilities. And when we think about, extra mile and how important that is to us and some of the conversations we're having in regards to extra mile and upgrades and, we're never finished, right? It's always what's next. And so is there an opportunity to bring students closer and put them around, at least on one side, maybe all sides and create a different level of experience? I think Bronco Nation is fully bought into they matter and they impact the outcome of a game. They impact recruiting. They impact retention. they impact the overall experience, which ties into sponsorships and our revenue generation that funds this department. We are solely, for the most part, dependent upon the support we receive. So we would have to account for that. But I think that is a possibility. And that's the type of dream, the dream, phase that we go through as a team. It's not just me. It's a number of people in our department. It's our coaches. It's our student athletes. And people like you, BJ, and Bronco Nation. Like, I want to hear from people because I want to be elite, and elite changes, right? We're never going to be status quo. We're always going to be moving. And it's always what's next. And people get tired of me saying that, but I have to be a constant reminder internally and externally that we cannot stop. And so if we could create a better experience for our students and our fans, and that impacts Leon and Gordy and gymnastics and volleyball and so on and so forth, we're going to do that.
What is I want to get back to football questions while we're on basketball and facilities, and this all kind of ties together. What is the status of the practice facility upgrades and the offices? And I know there was a push to get some money, and I thought at one point it was getting pretty close to being funded, but we haven't really heard much at all about potential upgrades over there to the practice facility and moving the coaches' offices and things for basketball over to the arena.
Yeah, there's challenges when, athletics doesn't, which we've talked about before, athletics doesn't control extra mile. And that's no one's fault. It just is what everyone's inherited. And it's what it's been for many years, if not decades. And that's something that I'm always curiously questioning. And I'm fortunate. I have great partners and on campus that are willing to have those conversations. And so we have to navigate that. We're accounting for graduations and concerts and outside events and other things. And so anything we do in that aux gym, many people may not know this. The aux gym space currently in Extra Mile that's attached to Arganchona, athletics controls Arganchona. The aux gym space where men's and women's basketball practice, that is controlled by Extra Mile. So technically that's a space that athletics does not control or own.
Oh, wow.
And so that's part of it. Anything we do over there, it has a dominoing effect. And so we have to make sure all of our partners and teammates that we're accounting for how they're utilizing the space and what they need that space for. And so we pivoted to the swimming and diving facility. It was sitting empty, and it's a space that we felt like could accommodate a lot of our Olympic sport programs, create another gym floor, that our sport programs, including men's and women's basketball, could use. When men's and women's basketball are in practice and maybe a concert comes in, sometimes they have to go use the rec center, and that's not our standard. We are a Power 4 program, whether people want to give us credit for that or not. And that's we're bar raisers. And so we want to continue to elevate, and we want to create opportunities and that impact the experience of our staff and student athletes. And so we pivoted to the swimming and diving. We think that is still a viable option. And we do have quite a bit of money raised, and I'm really grateful for, a lot of those donors that are supportive of that project. But like most things, it takes a while, and we keep, trying to move it forward an inch at a time. And there's some things we're waiting on. Anytime there's empty space on a university campus, there are other units and teammates that also want to utilize that space for whatever their vision is their bar raisers. And so we're working with those people, and I would hope that by July 1st, I would have a better answer to say, we are going to do this project in swimming, diving, or we're not. And we're going to pivot back to Extra Mile and figure out what that looks like in that aux gym. I do think that, you see a lot of colleges right now, or athletic departments, they're pulling back, and in typical fashion, when I see people go left, I try to find a reason to go right. And, I want to continue to build and impact our facilities. Our facilities are not at neutral. I wouldn't even say we're at average. We're behind. And that's why we've dedicated so much time, energy, and effort and resources to building up not just football and basketball, but all 18 sport programs facilities. And we need to continue to do that. And I think that ultimately, when we get to a more sustainable model in our industry, whether that's collective bargaining or something else, that facilities are going to be that much more important. And you see that at the professional level, the experience you provide, it does matter. And that's something that is top of mind for me as we continue to, with Unbridled campaign, and we're, I can't say enough about the foundation and our GIA and Bruce Moore, who's now the incoming president, Jim Martin, who is the outgoing president. The work that they've done, and Brian Bills and our collective team, and just hitting the ground and creating that pipeline, and really going out and getting those dollars that we're going to be able to invest, that becomes an opportunity for us to drive more revenue and create a better experience, which impacts winning.
Boise State Athletic Director Jeremiah Dickey is taking your fan questions here. We got 556 folks right now, Jeremiah, across YouTube, Facebook, X, tuned in to get their questions across. And I'm trying to pick the best ones here because we can't get to them all. But we did have a talk the other day about the uniforms. Yes, last year you guys got the new uniforms, but the orange uniform was still the old uniform for football. Folks were wondering, is there any update to the orange uniforms coming or anything different? There's been talk, folks wanting a throwback uniform for football. I know it's not quite that easy when you have 100+ uniforms and Nike and all the stuff that Dale has to deal with. But you only could choose 3 last year, I guess, for whatever reason. But the orange uniforms, any thoughts there or talk or anything new working with uniforms?
Yeah, we're really grateful for our partnership with Nike, and obviously Nike has tried to be more consistent across the country, and so we weren't an outlier in terms of having to lock in or needing to lock in on a handful of uniforms. And any changes will be announced. I don't want to show our hand yet, and but that is something that I probably don't think about as much, BJ. I'm probably more of a traditionalist, and I just want to play ball and to go out and compete.
It's been here 4 or 5 years now. You know how big of a deal uniforms are.
Well, and I was going to say, I know it's a big deal, and so our team thinks about it constantly, and Dell and our equipment staff and Sterling, they do such a tremendous job. And so there are going to be some cool things that I think Bronco Nation will appreciate this year. And we'll have some of those announcements as we get closer to the season.
Vlad is asking, we have to have the monthly question about the Pac-12 and the Mountain West situation here. Vlad's bringing that up. I did hear J.D. Wicker. I don't know if you saw his comments at like a Q&A type thing yesterday or the day before that he was doing with donors, saying that they feel the next 4 to 5 weeks here, a lot of stuff has to get done and come out, and that it's getting close to closer towards the end here. But he said that, hey, you guys pretty much have an idea, privately of what networks it's going to be and what you think it's going to mostly look like. And you guys are all or he was at least happy with what the numbers were going to be. What I know the mediation is going on. I know there's some stuff you can't say, but just what are you able to kind of update folks on that whole situation?
Yeah. And you hit it on the head. There's a lot that I can't say in ADs in general. And, and there's reason for that. It's not trying to be secretive or hide, but when you have as many attorneys and cooks in the kitchen right now as we do in terms of the PAC and the Mountain West, and there are a lot of moving pieces, and so really grateful for everyone's work on it, including the Mountain West. And it can be uncomfortable, but those people matter to me, and I do believe, and I've said this before, we are following our process and their strategy to the decision making and the announcements and what this looks like, and we've been pretty consistent on that. And so I would agree with JD. Every day we make progress, and you'll see more and more as we head into the summer. But I wouldn't say there's necessarily a rush on my end. I can't speak for all the other ADs or commissioners. There are processes, and I believe in that. And it's not something that I'm going to, comment on much more than that, other than we are in line with what we thought, and we are continuing to move forward. And over the course of, whatever JD said, next 5-6 weeks, I think you're going to see more out there in regards to announcements and other things. But it excites me. We knew there's inherent risk reward in any decisions. And when you're looking at trying to better your situation, and you can never guarantee an outcome. We're going to always put our best foot forward. We're going to continue to tell the story, and I'm bullish on who we are, what we represent, and where we're going. And that excites me, and hopefully excites Bronco Nation.
You made some headlines last week with a couple tweets. You're kind of just going crazy. And Bronco 130 says, JD, keep up the fight against the ding-dongs screwing up college football. Love that you carry the flag for our program. What kind of led you to some of the, what kind of, was behind maybe you wanting to kind of speak your mind like that, I guess? And we saw feedback from all over the country coming in. And obviously, as you could imagine, a lot of big dogs, weren't super, positive about your, I saw like a Georgia beat writer take some shot, just random people out of everywhere. I mean, I don't know if you expected it to go as big as it did. I know your friends, you have great friends over at On Three. I know they screenshotted the post and let it go viral. And the first one they've ever gone viral at Boise State from On Three. But what just in general, what'd you make of that? The reaction to that, and kind of what was the reasoning behind some of your tweets and stuff?
Yeah, one, I never put anything out expecting it to be viral. The vast majority of what I put out is for the people that I love and care about and serve. And that's my staff, our student athletes, and our supporters. And, and so when it went, if you can call it viral, whatever, I don't know if I was necessarily surprised, because obviously this is a topic of conversation that's going on around the country right now. And we've heard a lot about it, but at the end of the day, BJ, I'm not going to operate in fear. This job is hard, and I'm not whining. Like, it is what it is. I don't have to do this. I choose to do this. And I love what I do. And, but I have a duty, a responsibility, and ownership in what happens here. And if I'm not speaking my mind, then I'm failing Bronco Nation and, in an industry that I care about. I'm not saying I'm right in everything I put out. I know everyone has different opinions. The beat writer at Georgia, like, whatever, like, I get it. I find it funny that someone at Georgia is pushing back, when in many ways the system is not set up for Boise State's best interest. And that's something that I feel like athletic directors, leaders in general, we need to be more vocal. I don't like feeling the uncomfortableness that we felt over the past couple of years, and the lack of control, maybe, and then even sometimes feeling like you're held hostage, and so the last couple of weeks, I've probably hard pivoted to, I'm going to be more vocal in what I believe and in what I think. And doesn't mean I'm right. Everyone has an opinion. I'm entitled to one. And, it probably upsets some people, and, but that was more me defending and representing my people. And that's Bronco Nation, and that's who I serve. And, and I'm going to continue to be vocal. I think, it's not rocket science, the system, I said it, I did an interview yesterday, and I talked a lot about, the lack of unity we have across an industry. And let's talk specific football. There's a set number of FBS institutions, but with the number of conferences and athletic directors and presidents, and we're all under this one association, it creates a lot of challenges. But to me, that's where the opportunity is. And, I can't tell you every solution, but I do believe, I know for a fact there is a solution. And sometimes, what's best for an individual school isn't what's best for the collective good. And, I use the NFL as an example, and what they've been able to build over time. And obviously we're professionalizing. There is a way. And I hope by speaking, my truth, at least, that it maybe causes conversation. All I want us to do is, and I think it's happening. I'm not judgmental of any leader out there. This stuff is very challenging. There is no playbook, and we're creating it. It's like building the plane while you fly it.
Yeah.
But I see the writing on the wall, and I've said it before, the next 5 years is key, especially for a school like ours. I know what our brand is and our success, and my job is to continue to elevate it. And that's getting more and more challenging, considering what we're navigating with house settlement, which isn't approved yet, that there isn't collective bargaining, which I believe there should be. And, and then the power that some conferences have over others. That I just feel that's not necessarily in our best interest. And, and I get it. Some people say, well, play a harder schedule. Well, that's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of power forwards that will not play us, right? Or we have to go to them. And you've seen me do that because I still see value in it, and we'll play anyone. I would love to get more home and homes and create a stronger strength of schedule and whatever else. It's part of why we're moving, in this conference realignment scenario, and how do we continue to elevate? And there's only so many of those things that I can control. But what I can guarantee is that we're going to play the hand to the best of our ability. I'm going to continue to speak what I feel is the truth. And I think there is opportunity in an industry that has a tremendous amount of value. And we're very divided. And I feel for the group of five. We have fan bases that are all very passionate, and my hope is, our industry, can figure this out. And fortunately, as an athletic director, I have somewhat of a seat at the table. And, I'm not going to back down in always defending what I believe in, and especially at a place that I love here at Boise State.
Well, I think the 5+11 model just makes too much sense. I mean, I hate the, and I know your tweets were more centered on the buys and things like that, but in terms of the 16, I just think that giving any conference like half the field for two conferences is just
correct.
Weird. I really hope that the, SEC and Big Ten come to realize, like, you're still going to get your 3 or 4 teams. Put the 5 conference champions, 11 buys. It seems too perfect for me. We'll see. We only got time for another question or two, but in 4 minutes here, they're going to release the football schedule update. Yeah. And I know there was a couple of fans on here, speaking of opinions, not super happy about going all the way to Florida to open the season against South Florida. Greg says, please ask our AD why we are putting our team in an opening away game with little or no upside, taking our team across the country, playing in humid weather, hotter than hell, with most of the country expecting Boise State to win, lose, and our CFP appearance is in question. Somebody else mentioned it too. You guys kind of have typically done this first game on the road, but just maybe the South Florida series and this game in particular. I know it has a chance to playing another NFL stadium. You guys have kind of liked doing this, going down, to the South first game, but just your response to Greg and maybe anybody that doesn't like this game.
Yeah, I hear a lot about the scheduling, and there are a lot of moving pieces, and people probably get tired of me saying that, but a lot of our schedule was inherited. A lot of it is you're trying to plug and play based on the availability and the openings you have. And sometimes you don't necessarily, you have few options maybe. And we have a very specific formula, when it comes to games. And, so it's been a Power 4, 2 group of 5s and an FCS, and there's reason for that. South Florida is coming back to us. That's a good home game. And obviously we want to compete at the highest level, but I get it. Scheduling is never something that I'm going to make 100% of Bronco Nation happy on. What I can assure you is there's a lot of thought and strategy that goes into it. And, I've said this before, I don't like necessarily going east of the Mississippi. And obviously this game is won, but I'm not here to, pass judgment on what I inherited and what I didn't, and how we have to plug and play moving forward. I look 5 years out. We're actually scheduling out 7 years right now. And there's some games that will come, hopefully shortly, that, maybe Bronco Nation will like and some won't. But that's just the hand we're holding. And, I know Spencer and I are aligned in our strategy and what we want for our team. And that's something that I'm very grateful for. And, it's going to be a tough game, but every game we play is tough. We have a bullseye on us, no matter whether we're playing an FCS or an American team or a Power 4 team. Like, everyone loves playing us, and they love trying to beat us. And I think that gives our guys an opportunity, and especially on ESPN, and, to play that Thursday, prior to opening weekend, I guess 0 weeks the week before, but prior to Labor Day weekend, and to be able to get home and get a few extra days, prior to the next week's game. I think that's a value for us. So it is what it is. I appreciate the questions, and I'm always going to be honest and transparent in how we got there. And we'll continue to plug and play and figure out how we build something out that is a value.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, JD. I was trying to stall 1 more minute to actually get a comment on the release once it came out, but I don't want to take more of your time here. I know I don't know what you can say about it, but there's a couple, as always, maybe a couple, changes, and it is what it is. But overall, a pretty, I think, looks like an opportunity for you guys to get a lot of games on national TV, and it's going to be a solid TV schedule here.
I think the schedule sets up well for us. I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprises, when you all see it. And, I do think that, it sets up well, when you're always looking at when is your bye week and who do you have before and after, and, when you're playing a Thursday and a Friday and how late you're playing on a Saturday and the time to get back, home and get prepared, and so, I think the schedule sets up really well, and that's a shout out to Spencer and our team here, and then also John Sullivan and the Mountain West, and can't say enough great things about John and the work that he does. It's you can imagine navigating multiple ADs and football coaches in trying to complete a conference schedule, and I think he does a tremendous job, and really grateful for his leadership through this. And I'm excited about it. I hope Bronco Nation is. The expectations don't change. 6 games, 6 sellouts, and it's always what's next.
Well, appreciate you as always for jumping on, JD. I know you're busy. Thanks so much for the insight, and we'll either see you at a ball field or see you at a topping off ceremony or see you somewhere here in the near future. We appreciate you for jumping. Oh, they did just release it, I guess, by the way. So 3 Friday games.
Well, I have a few minutes if you want to look at it and ask me another question, unless you have Johnny's date on next.
No, we don't, but you do get one Friday home game, I believe, moved up after the South Florida game. The Eastern Washington game is a Friday night game. I think your other two Friday night games, it looks like, are on the road against Nevada. And then you do get Utah State moved up to Black Friday on the road, but at least it's not that 10 a.m. game. It's a 2 o'clock game, and that is on national CBS on a Friday afternoon game. That's a massive opportunity for you guys.
Huge opportunity. Not surprising that it was going to be on Black Friday. That's traditional for us now, and I do like that it's at that 2 o'clock time slot, and so that gives us a great opportunity to close out the season. And Nevada on a Friday is great. It gives us some extra time. I forget who we play after BJ, but it gives us maybe an extra 24 hours, which is good.
Fresno, you get an extra week for the home game.
There you go. So that's not bad. And then, Eastern Washington moving, really appreciate their athletic director and working with me on that. And Cody, helped me with that. Them being able to move it to a Friday, I think that gives us a good opening night. And, 7 o'clock, I believe is the time. And, I don't remember, like, the sun should be down by the third quarter, but, we like those night games, utilize the lights and create a better experience. But, I think I hope Bronco Nation is excited about it. Obviously, the early time slot for South Florida, is a struggle, and for people who have jobs and are working, and so I'm empathetic to that. But that's another good opportunity for us to be on ESPN, and I know we have some FS1s, and the goal is to continue to tell our story, and we're a national program, and so I'm excited about this season. 1-0. I'm only concerned about South Florida right now, though.
There you go. One championship week, 1-0. That's all the mindset there. I know we have the bingo card ready, but we appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on, JD, and we will talk to you. Thanks to Chris as well, and we'll see you tomorrow at the ceremony and everything, and appreciate your time.
Sounds good. Thanks, BJ. Go Broncos.
There he is, Jeremiah Dickey, athletic director at Boise State. And again, the schedule is out for those of you that are unfamiliar. You knew the dates and things, but the first change, the Eastern Washington game on Friday, September 2nd, that is moved to a Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Washington, the home opener, Friday, September 5th at 7 p.m. for the home opener against Eastern Washington. That will air on Fox Sports 1. The Saturday, September 20th game at Air Force will start at 5 o'clock Mountain Time on CBS Sports Network. The Appalachian State game on Saturday does not have a time yet on the 27th. We all know about the Notre Dame game. No time yet for the New Mexico game on Saturday the 11th or Saturday, October 18th, UNLV. That is an interesting one. I thought that might have a chance to move to Friday, but that stays on Saturday, October 18th is the Friday there. Saturday is the UNLV game. It did not change dates. They did bump up the game at Nevada in Reno, Friday, October 24th. That's a late 8 p.m. Mountain Time start. Saturday, November 1st is Fresno State. No time for that. Saturday, San Diego State, November 15th. That is 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, one of those late night ones at San Diego State on Saturday, November 15th. No time for the Colorado State game on Saturday, September 22nd. And then, yes, Friday, Black Friday at Utah State, 2 o'clock Mountain Time, that'll be on Big CBS, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock Eastern, prime Black Friday time slot there for the regular season finale at Utah State. So that's a big opportunity for Boise State as well. So appreciate Jeremiah for jumping on. We'll get that full schedule linked. And again, tickets still remain. You want to come join us tonight? Spencer Danielson, Leon Rice. I think Jeremiah might stop by. It's going to be a fun night tonight, raising money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. Come have some pizza. Come have a horseshoe golden ale. Get your question asked. Maybe shake hands with Spencer or Leon. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it tonight at the Western Collective Brewery, Garden City, 6 o'clock. You just got to email me, rains@bronconationnews.com ahead of time. We'll get you settled. $35 tickets, rains@bronconationnews.com. And that includes, again, your pizza and your horseshoe golden ale beer. I believe some orange chaos seltzer as well. And you get to mingle with some folks. And we are doing a raffle if you're playing in the golf tournament to play 9 holes with either Leon or Dirk Cutter. So that's going to be fun tonight as well. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate Jeremiah. Thanks to Johnny Ballgame. And email me if you want to come tonight to the if you want to come to the event. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. And we appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. And we will talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live. This is a presentation of our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, here at bronconationnews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.